Hello everyone, how's it going? In this video, we're going to talk about Lucid trading under the ticker symbol LCID. It's been one of the most speculated stocks on the Nasdaq. Some hope that it's going to be the next Tesla, some believe that it's going to be just a giant bubble about to burst. But most people involved would like to see the company doing well, at least in the stock market. So, as one of the heavyweights in a burgeoning industry, Lucid is also one of the few companies actually having a product. As time went on, the stock's price action and the investors' hopes went through huge roller coasters, and some are still wondering if it's not too late to jump on the bandwagon. So in today's video, we will look at Lucid and to see if the company still deserves to have a place in your portfolio. So if you appreciate my content, please consider to drop a like, comment, and subscribe to my channel. Also, please check out the links in the description section, as every help is much appreciated. Before we start today's video, I'd also like to make a brief disclaimer. My videos cover my opinions, and they should be viewed as such. They're not investment advice and should be watched for entertainment purposes. My videos are prepared either immediately before or a few days before the uploading. So sometimes by the time you see it, the price action no longer reflects what the current chart shows. Nevertheless, they should be still relevant because the analysis is about the short-term momentums, so it should be relevant for up to a few weeks after the release. Also, the analysis aims to cover the securities as broadly as possible by covering the fundamentals and the technicals. In addition to the price actions and the news events, the long-term tendencies, the shareholders' composition, the fundamentals and other market behaviors are also going to be covered, as they all affect the decisions about if we should buy a security, how many shares we want to buy, and whether they should be bought at the current price level. With that being said, let's get into today's topic. Lucid went public in the height of the EV craze back in 2020 by reverse merging with a SPAC called CCIV. The market was very looking forward to this event because it would mark the beginning of a new era for the EV sector. I mean, back then, Tesla was making one historical high after another, and it seemed that no one can stop the bullish tendency. People were in the mindset that, the bull market may never end, because it has continued for the past 15 years or so. The only true alternative for Tesla at that time was NIO, and investors were looking for a domestic company with better oversight and perceived safety regarding their investment. Although Lucid was going public in 2020, it's a company with more than a decade of development as a private company, and proved to the industry that it is here to stay. We gotta remember that the market mood was euphoric at the time, and there seemed to be no obstacle that lies ahead of us. The current price action acts as a major cool down and also opportunity for entry. So the price went above around $6 and for now was able to hold there. This support is significant, at least psychologically speaking, but in my mind, if it cannot hold the $6, then it would directly open the gates to the $5 level, and below that, I would stop saying that, there is some significant supports for the stock. I mean, it might be heading for penny stocks below 5. So the sell-off didn't stop, but may need to see more developments or confirmations to see if the bottom has been found. Overall, it's still under the weight of the market trends, so it's not necessarily a price point to enter and to guarantee a return just yet. But we might see another few months before there might be some true turning points from a macroeconomic perspective, especially regarding the interest rates. So if we look at the long-term tendencies, it's very easy to spot that the bubble has since then bursted. The market doesn't want to blindly follow the latest hype anymore, and can no longer hide the fact that this industry will have some serious questions to answer in the years to come, namely regarding the profitability, the supply chains, the issue regarding cost benefit for shareholders, and also, eventually, the market rate. sorry, I want to say like the capitalization multiplier. So with these elements in mind, at some point, the market doesn't want to hold the EV stock very high anymore, and predicted that there will be a bearish market after such a prolonged bull market. And most stakeholders believe that it's going to be a pretty rough patch for at least a few years. The market has peaked twice in the past. The first time because of hype, the second time because of product. Lucid remained a company with investment value in the years to come, and the main question in everyone's mind is when they should enter in the stock. The long grind lower can be sometimes something to last a very long time and to push the stock to very low level. We should remember that sometimes even if there is no company-specific fundamentals justifying these, they can still happen. So we have to be prepared for this scenario. It doesn't mean that it's going to occur for sure, but you know, the very idea that Lucid might go below $1 should not be an alien notion to us. That's what I'm saying. Like in our mind, we should have this scenario planned out in advance so that we don't get spooked. So when we take a look at Lucid's financials, we can see that the company's profitability remains to be improved. The sales grew, but so did the cost of goods sold, and especially I would say that the operating expenses remain something that needs to be dealt with. I think that in 2023, they said that they're going to improve like their production and the scalability. So this is going to probably solve this issue, or at least on paper is supposed to solve this issue. It remains to be seen. Regarding the other things, so far I would say that they need to start watching on the expense, and everything else would be good. Their debt level remains relatively normal and stable given the company's own scale and size, but overall I would say that the main issue to watch out for is the decreasing liquidity and also like the expense levels that we mentioned earlier. Looking further down the road, it's not out of question that Lucid is going to go through additional rounds of dilutions in 2023 just because as long as they cannot bring net positive cash flows from the operations, they will either have to take on more debts in, pretty high interest rates, or to sell the promise of a better tomorrow, which is diluting the shareholders. So, to me, the choice is quite obvious. So from the perspectives of the financial ratios, I would say that Lucid doesn't have a difficulty selling their cars. They might having a difficulty with the liquidity of their assets, meaning their assets are getting more and more long-term and illiquid, so that if they need to fulfill some short-term obligations, they have less and less money to do so. Now, they don't have a difficulty selling their vehicles, but for now, we haven't scaled up yet. And, the recession hasn't really fully kicked in neither. And we haven't seen what's going to happen once their production goes up, right? So 2023 is certainly going to be an important year for Lucid to prove to the market that it can become a significant player. Now, regarding the shareholder composition, most of their shareholders, up to like 72%, are institutionals, meaning we have a reason to believe that those people are going to be here for the long run. And even if the position suffers like a significant percentile loss, it's not going to cause those people to bounce off as long as the fundamentals remain the same. I think that what's going to matter most is that Lucid needs to prove that they can become a profitable company. They need to make sure that EV remains relevant for at least the next couple of decades. And they need to show that the issues of rare earth can be resolved, meaning the supply chains and also the pollution created by rare earth extractions. Like if those issues can be demonstrated that they can be solved, for example, through recycling of batteries and whatnot, then I definitely believe that EV would have a bright future ahead of it. So with all that being said, Do I recommend to buy Lucid? Well, my personal opinion is that Lucid is good for investment. It is good for the medium to long term perspectives. And so the entry should be planned out as a reflection to all these. 2023 is going to be a crucial year for the company. So I believe that as long as your entry is made at like relatively low points, we should be fine. So my recommendation for maximum exposure would be between 3 to 5% of your portfolio.